It has been said that if you want to be noticed, then do something big or huge. Well, in the devolved counties, that means construction, and massive construction. In the counties of Kisii, Nyamira and Homa Bay in South Nyanza, the construction of stadiums has been ongoing for years since Devolution started being implemented. While the construction of these sports facilities appears to excite residents, questions have been raised about the amount of money being spent on the facilities and whether these facilities are value for money. Nimrod Taabu tells us more on a race against time as governors sink billions to complete legacy projects. Take a look.
People have been made to understand that devolution is coming with instant answers.
Mambo ya hospitali, hii ndio shida sasa kubwa zaidi.
Ile airport sahi iko ile iko Suneka iko 700 meters.
Why? Kwa sababu pesa ilifuchwa na ilienda mali ingine.
Kisii will be the place to be in for matters athletics.
Other than health, agriculture is another sector that most counties pumped a lot of cash and resources in order to improve food security and also improve the livelihoods of farmers. Kisii County generates at least 60% of its revenue through agriculture. For decades, residents have relied heavily in crop production, but focus has now shifted to dairy farming. Zero grazing, to be specific, in order to maximize on land.
If you're looking at improving the animal herd, the semen itself was costing 3,000 shillings. And I then said, no, this is unsustainable. If we have to improve the animal herd from the traditional animals that don't give you any milk, they give you like 2 liters of milk, we needed to reduce the price of semen. So we brought in our own plant and we reduced the price from 3,000 to 500.
At the Kisii Agriculture and Resource Center, a modern zero-grazing unit has been set up. This facility was set up in order to train farmers on simple but elaborate ways in which to utilize land and still keep dairy animals while at the same time improve milk production.
For a farmer to now maximize the benefits of dairy farming, the land we have out there is not enough. So we prefer that you do zero grazing where you can be able to manage your animal, you know how to feed it, and you know what to do so that you can maximize in milk production.
The dairy unit, which is a pilot program here, has so far attracted many farmers who previously relied heavily on crop farming. Some farmers are now milking up to 16 liters of milk from dairy farming.
The demand for milk is going up every day. And I want to tell you that even in Kisii, what we produce, we are not able to satisfy the demand that we have in Kisii.
The institution receives several farmers. We train farmer groups, we train women groups, and also train individual farmers, and also youth groups. And they come every day. We don't charge individual groups.
This program has been supported by other partners and will run for a period of 5 years up to 2023, when 50% of crop farmers are expected to take up dairy farming fully. A few meters from the dairy unit is the country's first banana processing plant. Kisii being the largest banana producer in the country, one would expect that this plant would have been established many years ago. But as they say, Rome was not built in one day.
We are asking for business people who want to come and run a factory or a banana factory. They come in, we give them the factory together with the equipment, and they run, they just pay us a nominal amount of money, so long as we agree on the pricing.
The processing plant is not operational yet. Equipment is yet to be purchased. Workers at the plant have also not been enrolled, and the farmers are yet to transport their produce here.
if you're going into such kind of a thing, enter into a partnership with the private sector and find a way that the county government can move out and leave it for sustainability purposes. For the private sector, or the community takes up the position of the county government.
The counties of Samburu, Baringo and West Pokot have a thing in common. Most of the farmers here are livestock keepers, and many of the breeds here are kept for meat. 9 years of devolution and the 3 counties are simultaneously constructing abattoirs. Lairage Abattoir is being set up at Nomatio in Samburu County. The construction is almost 40% complete and is expected to help livestock farmers sell their animals for slaughter and hopefully help them to stop relying on smaller livestock auction markets in the county. This project is being undertaken in partnership with the European Union, which has funded the project to the tune of 142 million shillings, while the county government has contributed land and slightly more than 20 million shillings in cash. The animals that will be slaughtered here will be sold locally and also for the export market.
We wanted to have the animals slaughtered in Samburu because movement of live animals is a challenge. A truck of say 28 tonner, a 20 tonner can only carry 28 live animals. But in terms of slaughtered animals, it can carry as many as 70. So it becomes cheaper, it's become faster.
Feasibility study is very low. You do things for political expediency, and you end up using a lot of cash and burning money, public money, in such kind of project. It becomes misallocation of resources. I think that is a wrong way to do it.
But livestock keepers at a local auction market in Marala town say the location of the abattoir is not ideal for them. They also argue that once the abattoir is operational, their auction market in Marala town will become obsolete, rendering many jobless. Sebastian Lesit says the market has been in existence for 20 years. He says drought has made the animals weak and unpresentable to buyers. The abattoir, according to him, will not be sustainable because farmers will not be impressed with the price of selling animals to the county and its partners.
Kwa mimi tuletea shida sana. Sana. Na wanunuzi pia hawapo. Wanunuzi hatuna wanunuzi wa kununua mbuzi. Maybe tunategemea tu makishinjo tu peke yake. Sasa hapa. Mbuzi mmoja unanunua ngapi? Sasa mbuzi mmoja hadi ameanguka bei karibu 4,300 bei chini. Zamani hadi ilienda mpaka 10,000.
According to these livestock keepers, this marketplace is ideal as it enables them to sell milk to a local processing plant. Edwin Chesire, who is the manager of the plant, says they buy 350 liters of milk daily from farmers. Currently, there are 400 farmers who are benefiting from the milk pasteurizing plant.
Kwanza walikuwa wanaenda kwa manyumba, kwa maplot kuuza, wengine wanakosa kwenda shule, na sasa kwa sababu hii project imekuwa rahisi kwao kuleta maziwa kwa sababu wanaleta asubuhi na wanafanya kazi zao zingine.
In Baringo, a similar project was started recently. Maoi Slaughterhouse is also being co-funded by the county and the European Union. The progress of the construction is slowly taking shape, and Governor Kiptis says the abattoir will be operational early next year.
Why farmers are hesitant sometimes to sell their animals is because of prices. This will encourage the farmers to actually sell their animals because of pricing. As we speak, during drought, a quote is 700, 1,000 to 2,000. A cow goes to 5,000, 7,000. That discourages farmers.
Like Samburu, the county of Baringo says it also wants to tap into the meat business in foreign markets. But there is a catch. All county governments are not allowed by law to do business with foreign companies or countries directly. It has to be in the form of public-private partnerships that can allow projects to be completed sooner. According to a report done by the foodnavigator.com, Kenya is EU's biggest East African community trading partner. Live animals, preparation of meat and edible meat offal exports to Kenya represented 2.5% of all of EU agricultural exports to the country in 2013. Exports of meat offal, prepared products and other meat exports from EU to Kenya were valued by the International Trade Data at approximately 1.3 million euros. Nowhere does the report give data about the amount of meat exported from Kenya to the EU. In West Pokot County, another abattoir stands incomplete. The shell of the structure started in the previous leadership, led by Governor Simon Kachapin. A couple of years later, works is still in progress. This abattoir can hold up to 500 animals at once before slaughter. Most of the crucial work has been done, save for the installation of equipment like coolers, cutters, conveyor lines, as well as other storage facilities and office equipment. Locals are still hopeful this project will be complete before there is a change of guard in the county's leadership.
We want to retain that by having the animals slaughtered in our factory, Nasukota mechanized slaughterhouse, so that we can export the meat.
Livestock is a lucrative form of agribusiness which can deliver high returns if done right and if livestock keepers can access good markets. However, over 60% of the livestock that provides meat in Kenya comes from pastoralists. But due to their non-commercial inclination, the animals they supply to the market are usually too old, either more than 4 years of age and way below their required weight. These counties will have to sensitize livestock keepers and pastoralists and perhaps offer incentives in order for the supply chain to function efficiently. Otherwise, the abattoirs could easily become white elephants and huge sums of money go to waste.
These projects that we are doing will not be run solely by the county government. We are doing it as the county government. When the projects are up and running, we can go into PPP, public-private partnership, or we give out to a private investor and so on. But we have participated.
We still have an arrangement with KMC, the Kenya Meat Commission, to deliver beef that is directly processed from Maralal, especially the basic processing on slaughtering, and that this can improve uptake.
We have put a concept in this abattoir, such that whoever is going to, because we have decided that it will go private. We can't run as a county. We are going to ensure that it's run privately. As we speak, we have applications. We have people from Qatar. We have a number of them that from South Africa, from Dubai. We have also a number from Kenya.
You need to have demand first for that meat before you take it to an abattoir. If you don't have the demand, the other option will be storage. And you need a cold chain storage, which is an expensive infrastructure. So you find that counties who invest in abattoirs without such kind of storage facilities, you actually, in value addition terms, you're actually degrading that meat.
Trade and infrastructure go hand in hand, at least as far as the counties are concerned. At the onset of devolution, counties embarked in ambitious projects to improve trade, but some soon hit a dead end when they started to charge traders dubious amount of monies in form of taxes and levies. Kenyans doing cross-border business were even forced to pay multiple levies charged on goods. This was done without even improving the environment in which traders were doing business. But luckily, the exploitation has since stopped, and county governments have changed tact and instead became humane in their day-to-day operations. One of the ways that was aimed at improving local trade was building markets or market sheds. Nyakoe Market in Kisii County is yet to open its doors to traders and customers, but the market sheds have already made traders salivate. Most of them have been selling their wares in the open and have been affected by rain and sometimes the scorching sun. The Rajambili market is now complete, but it is not fully occupied. Some traders are still not willing to operate from the new market for fear of losing customers. Some are trying to avoid the small fee they have to pay per day to occupy the stalls inside the market.
When we control 60% of the money market in the Nyanza region, the bulk of that is coming from agriculture because we are an agricultural county.
Kitambo tulikuwa kwa mabatini huko na tulishukuru kukuja hapa. Sasa wametengenezea sisi mahali pazuri, mahali pa samaki. Wateja wako kidogo, sipokuwa iko changamoto, iko wengine wamebaki kwa mabatini huko, sasa ndio inaletea sisi utata kidogo.
A good clean market means conducive hygiene. In Homa Bay, the county government has been accused of being too slow in completing the biggest modern market in the region. Since 2014, traders have been given false promises. Homa Bay market has been in this state for several months now. All works appear to have been completed, save for little touch-ups here and there. But no one except the governor knows when the market will be opened for business. Meanwhile, traders who sell second-hand clothes and fruits continue to sit along the roadside, selling their wares to customers. Fishmongers are the most affected by the delay to open the Homa Bay market. Despite selling perishable goods, little concern has been given to them. All types of fish can be found here, but open spaces lack hygienic condition. Dishes for serving meals are washed on the shores of the lake, and yet the new market could have provided these women with a conducive environment in which to work.
Tunachota maji mbaya yenye yanatoka barini, za zingine ni green. Hiyo shida tuko naye kabisa na hakuna wenye wanasaidia sisi.
You can see the markets in Oyugis, you can see the one in Homa Bay town too. But of course, there are a whole retinue of other things that we could still have in Homa Bay. Homa Bay can still tap a lot from its basic resources.
Samburu County too is putting finishing touches at the Maralal market. This market, which has been built in the last 2 years, is expected to house 200 traders. They will include food vendors, cloth merchants, poultry sellers, among others. The market is expected to start functioning by the end of the year.
The intention is to create, to generate resources, then the economy does not tally. The cost and the output does not tally in any way.
Generating revenue should not be the ultimate goal, but in terms of developing traders within those places and making them, equip them for better market growth, then you can be able to talk about revenue generation.
As Samburu County government, we had a lot of ground to catch comparative to other counties who are coming from far much behind. But at least as we sit today, we are still at that state where we can be compared with counties that were doing very well even before 2013.
In Kitale, Trans Nzoia County, Governor Kayemba and his teams are breathing a sigh of relief. For more than 2 years after winning the gubernatorial seat, traders took him to court to prevent him from turning a car park area into a matatu and bus terminal.
It took me 2 years to start the bus park. Why? Because they had gone to court. It took me time to obtain this area where we are sitting from the private hands so that we could commence work.
Next to the bus park, the construction of a multiple-story market is ongoing. Kayemba is eager to show us the progress. For Kayemba, a lot has not been going according to his plan. The last time this town was properly structured was in the 70s. By then, the population was only 20,000 people. Today, during the day alone, over 200,000 people work and trade here or are on transit. There is simply no more space for expansion of Trans Nzoia County.
And somebody will ask, what have you done? And I want also to ask, for close to over 50 years, what is it that had been done to this town? There was no planning, there was no setting aside areas for development or expansion.
The county government has on several occasions approached the Kenya prisons to purchase land adjacent to where the market is being constructed. Kayemba's pleas, however, have fallen on deaf ears.
Some of the people in Nairobi do not come to the ground yet to appreciate the problem. I've had several scheduled meetings by ministers which have never occurred. And if they came here, they would really appreciate. I've had the Minister of Lands, I've demanded they come here, they just have not reached here.
Maize production in Kitale has provided this town with an economic lifeline, but crop production has dwindled so much in the past decade due to various reasons. Farmers are constantly complaining about tilling and toiling all year round, only to harvest little or nothing at all.
Wafanyabiashara walagai walikuwa wameanza kuteremsha bei ya mahindi kufikia kiwango ya mkulima kupata hasara.
The very first thing we did in Trans Nzoia was to look at the issue of soil management. We realized that our soils were not giving us good produce. The fertility was low, productivity was low.
And that's why I came up with the diversification program as an answer to this acidification of our soil and the issue of monocropping.
Maize dependency in Trans Nzoia has been going on for years on end, but productivity has declined tremendously. Originally, farmers could get between 40 to 45 bags of maize per acre. That productivity now stands at 20 to 15 bags per acre.
What causes soil acidity? The answer was two: monocropping and overuse of a fertilizer, popular fertilizer called DAP, that has now acidified the soils. And as a result, productivity had gone down drastically.
Farm machineries have also played a negative role in crop production. In order to help farmers improve production, the county government bought modern farming equipment which is available to farmers at an affordable price.
So these farmers you see here, a number of them have been farming at a loss because they don't keep any records. If you are getting 15 bags, you are farming at a loss. You break even at 17 bags.
The county government is currently at loggerheads with the national government for halting a program which would have seen foreign partners lease agricultural equipment to farmers in a bid to modernize farming technology. Monocropping is also another problem that has affected soil fertility. The county is now supplying tissue culture banana, coffee, tea, avocado, macadamia and apple seedlings to farmers. This diversification is aimed at helping the farmer maximize profits on arable land. With maize production, farmers only get one earning annually.
The problem with maize is farmers get one earning in a year. If I gave you a job and I told you your salary will be paid once a year, would you accept? I don't know whether you'd accept, but that's the fate we have put to our farmers. If they have several streams of income, they'll come at...
But so far, very few farmers have embraced this idea from the county.
Out of total farmer population, I would say we are heading to the bracket of about 60%.
In Baringo, the county wants to revamp coffee farming, but the efforts are proving tough. Baringo Cha Coffee Mill is located in the outskirts of Kabarnet town. It is right in the middle of a forest. This was the old mill that used to serve the farmers many decades ago. And this is a new coffee mill, built through a partnership between the county government and a foreign investor in Korea. The county government provided land, while the investor pumped millions of shillings to build the structure and install a milling plant. Elizabeth Cheregon is the caretaker of the coffee mill. She says before the milling plant was constructed, farmers used to take their coffee to Eldoret.
Hii mtambo itasaidia wakulima sana. Hawatapeleka gao yao mbali sana. Transport sasa imekuwa rahisi. Tunakuwa tutatoa tu kwa nyumbani na tulete hapa karibu tu.
Because initially we used to transport our coffee to millers outside. I mean outside the county. We used to be taking it to Sasini in Kiambu, to CMS in Eldoret, which was a little bit costly, especially in terms of transport. And of course, you know, once the coffee are delivered there, you even do not know what's happening.
But the farmers in Baringo are not large-scale farmers. Majority practice coffee farming on 1 acre piece of land or even a 1/4 acre piece of land.
Na hii kawa yangu iko kwa nusu heka. Mapato yangu ya kusaile nikipona sio mbaya, naenda mpaka 3,000.
Hata hii mill sasa tutaki kama ataweza hii kawa yao. Tuko na kawa mingi sana kwa shamba.
Serikali bado iko na control ya marketing ambaye mkulima at least anapata faida kwa kahawa.
Machines at the coffee factory are yet to start humming away, and full operations are expected to start early next year. But just how profitable would this factory be to the county? given that the private investor will buy coffee from farmers directly, mill it and export it.
You know, when you have a product and you don't have a market, and then it defeats the aspect of starting that kind of a program or activity. Other than the provision of this factory, we are getting also a huge market in South Korea.
No government has been proved to be a good investor. And there is a lot of inefficiencies, there is a lot of wastage that happens when government is able to enter into an investment. Let's leave that to private sector and then facilitation.
While the county governments we visited have been lauded for the expansion and development projects, some of the projects appear to have been way too ambitious to construct, fund and even maintain. It is even impossible to imagine that some projects can be carried out. Kiandege area in Nyamira County. Out in the field we see cattle grazing. Neighboring this plain field are 2 schools, and children have completed classes for today, ready to go home. In total, we counted 3 football pitches here, and it is here where the county government of Nyamira hopes that an ambitious project will take off. Many years ago, in fact, during the colonial era, locals here say this used to be an airstrip that was used by British military as well as the Italians. Several years later, it looks like this. There's been an occupation here and even an encroachment. A lot of the plains here or the fields are being used by school children and the schools within here. Also, farmers are using it to graze their animals. But the county government of Nyamira says it wants to turn this into a fully fledged airport very soon.
Kujenga airstrip kwa watu 800 na iko wanyabiashara, because hii airstrip tukijenga itasaidia part of Homa Bay, Rongo, Kisii, because ile airport sahi iko ile airstrip iko Soneka iko 700 meters. So commercial planes hawezi kuja huko. Sisi tunataka kujenga, tumeuliza serikali kuu, nafikiri board ya aviation imepitisha last week. Itatuma maengineer hapa, ilituma kwanza assessment. Itatuma maengineer hapa, kazi ianze kwa mwaka huu tu.
According to the government, the airport will open up Nyamira and Kiandege specifically. While the project will be viable and the governor appears to be upbeat about it, I can't help but wonder how exactly this airport construction concept came about. Kisumu County, which is approximately 91 kilometers from Nyamira, has an international airport, and those in the aviation industry will tell you that Kisumu Airport has not even reached its full potential.
We have reserved 155 acres. Na mahali watu iko kidogo, mahali ndege inatokea, hiyo ni mahali watu walichukua shamba ya serikali. Tutawapatia notice tukianza kuchimba hapa.
Ulikuwa unatumika na wakoloni kitambo.
Ndio inaitwa Kiandege. So tutawapea notice wasonge, kwa sababu hapo mahali hakuna mtu amejenga jumba permanent, because wanajua iko mwenyewe.
Some counties are leadership are quite erratic in terms of either that capacity to look at the long term might not be there, and if they are there, might not political interest overshadows, the bigger good.
This is the road that will lead to the airport, and the county government says it is already planning to allocate money for the construction of a modern road.